WHCS Channel 29 presents Peninsula District Basketball, the semifinal games between the Hampton Crabbers and the Ferguson Mariners. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble. Welcome to Hampton University for tonight's semifinal action between the Hampton Crabbers, 19-3, and the Ferguson Mariners, 14-8. Bob, before we have the announcements of the lineups, how do you look at tonight's ball game?
Well, this is a kind of a strange game. During the regular season, these teams have met each other 3 times, once in the Christmas tournament at Fort Eustis, where Hampton won very handily, about 20 points. But after that, the Ferguson Mariners have beat the Hampton team twice during the regular season, and this is a very exciting game in that the winner goes on to play Warwick Friday night for the championship, and only one of those teams is going to go on to the district, to the regional playoffs. So you have to win the district tournament this year to get to the advancement.
Because Denby High School, of course, has clinched a regional playoff berth. There you see the officials. Pat Patrick is the gentleman on your right. He's the one with the mustache. And Ed Freeman is the umpire. And we're set for the opening announcements for the starting lineups.
First of all, at forward, 6-foot junior for the Ferguson Mariners, number 40, Bruce Fowler. At forward, a 6'1" senior for the Hampton Crabbers, number 32, Ronnie Blackwood. At forward, a 5'11" senior for the Ferguson Mariners, number 24, Marty Chadwick. At forward, a 6'3" senior for the Hampton Crabbers, number 42, John.
Crabbers, number 20, Kevin Swan. And at guard, a 5'9" senior for the Ferguson Mariners, number 12, Duffy Hall. At guard, a 5'10" senior for the Hampton Crabbers, number 12, Aaron Johnson. Head coach for the Ferguson Mariners in his 14th season is George Walters, and he is assisted by Charlie Peoples. Head coach for the Hampton Crabbers in his 5th year is Walter Brower, and he is assisted tonight by David Blizzard and Art Jones. Our officials, ladies and gentlemen, the referee, Jim Downey, and the umpire, Mr. Pat Patrick.
That's Jim Downey. I thought that was Ed Freeman.
He had a name change during the introductions. You know, this gentleman, Mr. Peoples, for the Mariners, who's assistant coach. I don't know if I talked to you about this before or not, but I remember watching him in high school at Ferguson.
Well, I not only watched him, I had to coach against him.
Did you?
Yes,
he's the one I'm thinking of. He was one great guard.
Well, when he was a junior or senior, this when they went all the way and won the state championship. So he was an excellent guard. He had excellent quickness, very good ball handling skills, and of course, this is something he's hoping to pass on his skills and his teaching ability to the Mariners.
All right, I am excited about this ball game. We hope you're ready for what should be an excellent ball game. The winner of this game advances to the Friday night game against the Warwick Raiders, and that victor goes on to the regional play. The Hampton Crabbers will be the team in the white uniforms with the red numerals. The tap was knocked out of bounds by the Crabbers. The Ferguson Mariners will inbounds. Of course, they're in the visitors' uniforms, the dark blue with the light blue trim.
Well, we're going to see a game with very up-tempo style. Both of these teams are going to play quickness. I look for Ferguson to play a zone because that's what they played against the Hampton team and were very successful with it.
Steve Artis gets the first basket of the ball game. Again, you're right. The Mariners have displayed so far extreme quickness. Crabbers, backcourt tandem of Aaron Johnson and Kevin Swan. Inside for John Scott. So John Scott ties the ball game at 2.
Well, both these teams will move the ball up the court real quick.
Artis dishes off. blocked inside. Shot is put up. It's tipped out, but controlled by Artis of Ferguson. For the open man on the baseline, that is number 40, Bruce Ballard, and he makes it 4-2 Ferguson.
The Mariners are in a 2-2-1 press.
Scott breaks the press. Ronnie Blackman will fire. It doesn't go, but we've got a foul inside. And it's going to be charged to Baruch Harris. That's his first, the team's first. And it'll be a player control foul. The Mariners leading 4-2 will have the ball. Marty Chadwick brings the ball up along with Steve Artis. That's Artis with the ball.
Now what you'll see the Mariners do, Tim, is they'll set a lot of baseline picks and try to get somebody open real close underneath the basket by doing a lot of picks and screens underneath the basket. And this is one thing that Hampton got hurt on last time they played them. Now you see they're in a 1-3-1 zone. They bring their point guard out real high to put pressure on the Hampton shooters, because Hampton's got some excellent outside shooters.
Baruch Harris, bounce pass inside is knocked away. Here come the Mariners, 2-on-2. Left side, Artis back for Ballard. Won't go, it's tipped around and finally controlled by the Mariners. This is Chadwick for Hall. All guarded by Blackman. He rode right by him. Harris had the ball momentarily. Ballard, and we've got traveling. Good defense. You notice Harris, or rather John Scott, did not leave his feet.
He just kept his hands up, and that's why there was a turnover. Excellent job.
Kevin Swan will inbounds. Full court pressure being applied by the Mariners. Travers not having any difficulty breaking the timeline, but now quickness by Duffy Hall. Hall will drive, doesn't go, tip no good, and finally controlled by Baruch Harris, knocked away. And we've got some players with some extreme quickness. We got almost a mid-court violation there, as it appeared that Aaron Johnson came across the timeline and then brought his foot back. Nothing called. Swan's shot doesn't go, and Baruch Harris will be called for foul number 2.
Well, that's 2 quick fouls on Baruch, and you don't want that to happen, but Hampton's got a pretty deep bench. They're going to come in right now with another ball player, Tim.
That's going to be Cedric Williams coming in for Baruch Harris.
But they lose a little size. Baruch is very big, not only in his stature, but also in the width of his body.
5.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. 4 8-minute quarters in high school basketball. From 18, in and out. And Johnson had the ball momentarily. We've got a foul.
That's on number 54 for the Mariners, Tim. He went over the back that time trying to get the foul. That's John Lynch. But he has done that twice, but that's the first time he's been called.
First team foul. 4-2 the Mariners. Swan and Johnson, the backcourt tandem. They break the timeline. Give it off to John Scott. Again, as soon as the forwards get the ball, there's a double teaming of the Crabbers. Ballard loses control momentarily, and he steps on the baseline. Officials have got their hands full with this game, don't
Well, I tell you what, Hampton's got to be a little more cautious of protecting that basketball.
Swan to Ronnie Blackman. John Scott, and a foul.
Foul's going to get against the Mariners, number 12, Duffy Hall. It'll be his first personal foul.
Foul is on Duffy Hall, his first, the team's second. Player control foul. John Scott looks inside. Aaron Johnson off the glass and lost out of bounds. It belongs to the Mariners, knocked away by one of the Crabbers. Big number 54, Sean Lynch, had the rebound. It was knocked out of his hands. And the Mariners leading by 2. Again, both teams stone cold here in the first quarter. 4-2, a little more than 4:40 to go in the first quarter.
Hampton's doing a good job, Tim, of playing defense with their feet. They're keeping the body in front, and that's what you got to do. You can't be reaching.
Duffy Hall hits the baseline. So we've had several occasions on the turnover where the defense has caused the offensive player to straddle the line, or in fact, in this case, step on the line. Ronnie Blackman from 15.
We know Hampton's an excellent shooting team. We watched them play the second half at Denby the other day, and boy, they didn't miss many shots. All of them are excellent shooters.
Hit over 60% of their shots in the second half against Denby to defeat the Patriots. Duffy Hall, baseline, stolen by Swan. Kevin Swan has a 1-on-4 and wisely decides to hold it up for the rest of his teammates. Swan will fire. Doesn't go. Kind of an unorthodox shot.
He does have an unorthodox shot, but he is one of the top shooters on the peninsula, especially from the three-point range.
There's a three-point try. It's no good. Swan is underneath for the rebound. Kick it out quickly. Aaron Johnson will push it up, and he is fouled from behind.
Well, they're taking it to the basket strong, Tim, and we're seeing an excellent team out here. Both teams out here playing excellent defense. Only been 4 points scored by each team, so we're 8 points, and we're only 3:30 to go in the first quarter. So we've got 4.5 minutes gone and only 8 points scored. Is very unusual. But you can attribute that to the defense of both teams.
Marty Chadwick charged with the personal. Going to the free throw line, Aaron Johnson. He'll have 2 shots. There you see a good shot of young Aaron Johnson. And that was not a good shot.
No, he's got to concentrate, and that's a hard thing to do when you get on that foul line, but you got to go through the same rhythm, the same thing every time, and concentrate like he did that time. That was a much better looking shot.
The Crabbers take the lead 5-4. 3:25 left to go here in the first quarter. Steve Artis chases it down. He's guarded by Kevin Swan. Artis wants to go inside. He does. We've got a foul as the charge foul will be on Cedric Williams, number 22. He was overguarding Mike Whitaker, number 44 of the Mariners. Third team foul. Inbounds pass is knocked back out of bounds by John Scott of Hampton. Checking in the ball game now will be Eric Hunter for the Crabbers. He'll come in for Cedric Williams. Stolen away. Swan just simply took it away. Aaron Johnson foot race, and he'll get the basket. So Swan, who not only has the soft touch and the good shooting eye, also has quick hands, and many times when he's not scoring, he's contributing in other ways to the team. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, he does a good job of passing the ball, and gets a lot of assists. But that's what the coaches like to see is on a turnover you convert, and that's exactly what Hampton did that time. There was a turnover, and they converted.
Last touch by the Crabbers.
At halftime, I'm sorry, not at halftime, but at the end of the first quarter, AG is going to talk to one of the groups of girls, whichever one isn't on the floor. He'll talk to either the Hampton cheerleaders or the Ferguson cheerleaders.
Hampton controls the rebound, leading by 3. Aaron Johnson with 3 points so far in the ball game. Top of the key, dish it inside, and it's lost out of bounds. Last touch by the Crabbers. Aaron Johnson pleading his case with the umpire, but to no avail.
Well, it looked like to me that one of the defenders did hit the ball, or the ball hit one of the defenders, but obviously the officials didn't see that, so.
Chadwick to Artis. Artis guarded closely by Swan. This is Chadwick. Stolen back by Artis. Drive it in, put it in. Steve Artis, 4 points, and it's 7-6 Hampton. Paper was quoted as saying, actually one of the coaches was quoted as saying in the paper that this could be one of the best games of the year. I have to agree with him, this could be.
Most certainly, it's got all the earmarks for it. You've got 2 excellent teams and 2 excellent coaches.
Minute and 35 remains here in the first quarter. 7-6 Hampton. Swan, inside pass. Too tough to handle, gets it back, and then he's fouled. Foul is on 24, Marty Chadwick. That's his second personal. Aaron Johnson comes out. Paul Blackman comes in for the Crabbers. They've got John Scott and Eric Hunter up front. With Ronnie Blackman, Paul Blackman, and Kevin Swan.
Neither one of the teams are in the bonus yet. No, yeah, they are. Hampton is in the bonus, the next foul.
And there is the next foul. That one will be charged to Rodney Shields, who just came in the ball game for Ferguson. He resoundingly slapped at the wrist. There was no question about that foul.
And did it right in front of Pat Patrick. I mean, there's no way he's going to get by with that one, Tim.
Going to the free throw line, Ronnie Blackman with the 1-and-1. A minute 21 to go. Low scoring ball game. 7-6 Hampton by a single point. Ronnie Blackman with a poor free throw. Eric Hunter, however, follows with the rebound.
Eric did a good job coming all the way across the lane to get that rebound. But that was not a real good foul shot. It looked like he pulled the chain on it.
Sure, George Walters lost a few hairs on that one as he watched his players out-hustle to the rebound. Battle inside, and it's chased down by Kevin Swan of Hampton.
It is tough under that backboard, Tim.
9-6 Hampton.
Now, Ferguson is in a 2-1-2 zone or a 2-3 zone. They got out of that 1-3-1 that they were in earlier. So the man is open as the man on the middle of the foul line. They get the ball to him, and he can dip it off to the wings or what. Find an open man. He's got to be aware he should go down the lane. 42, Scott should go down the lane when that ball goes to the wing. He should just slip right down the lane there.
Three-point attempt, no good. Swan couldn't get it to go. Here comes Steve Artis. Bounce pass left side is just too strong for his teammate Mike Whitaker. George Walters yelling encouragement to his Mariners. 21 seconds to go in the first quarter. Crabbers leading by 3. Crabbers break the timeline. This is Paul Blackman. Kevin Swan back to Blackman. Blackman penetrates, dishes it out. Swan from 16 hasn't found the range yet. Look out if he does. And Swan puts it up, and it doesn't
Nice
count.
hustle. That was excellent hustle.
Super
Knowing
hustle.
what was going on the field, I'm trying to locate AG. You see him?
All right, I see AG. He's got some of the Hampton cheerleaders. Let's go down to the end of the court now and AG wobble.
See, we're hit by 3. Your thoughts on the first quarter so far?
Well, the first quarter is going well so far. I'm sure they'll do better the second quarter, and I'm sure Kevin Swan and the rest of the players will continue to succeed.
Okay, what do you think about it?
I think they're going to do fine tonight. I wish them the best of luck.
Okay. All right, now these 2 young ladies. Beth, what are your thoughts? You're not feeling too good tonight, but are you going to be out there cheering for them?
Yes, sir, and I wish them the best of luck.
Okay, and this young lady?
I wish them luck. I hope they
Y'all got any special cheers for tonight's game?
can't crush a crab.
That always works, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to y'all. Y'all doing a great job. Tim and Bob.
Somebody's got to do that job.
you
He
notice
knows them by name, too. You notice that?
You notice they call him sir, too. They call him sir. They respect their elders. You know?
Good point. I like that.
9-6 is our score after the first quarter. A low-scoring first quarter. I wouldn't say it was so much poor offense as it was good defense.
That's exactly my point, Tim. Now, the Mariners are in that 2-1-2 zone, and the first thing that Hampton did that time was got the ball into Scott. Now, he turns around, he's got a shot, or he can pop the ball into somebody.
Mariners steal the inbounds pass, but a good hustle on the part of Cedric Williams gets it back for the Crabbers.
He did an excellent job, Tim.
John Scott way out at the top of the key. Almost intercepted, 16-footer, yes. John Scott now with 4 points, and it's a 5-point Hampton lead. Mariners find the open man inside, but it's knocked away by the Crabbers. Paul Blackman will hold it up. Finds John Scott. Scott playing catch with Eric Hunter. Now Paul
now
Blackman
they want
will
to set it up, and that's good discipline right there.
Blackman penetrates. Three-point try. Swan, yes. So Kevin Swan first basket is a big one, and it's now an 8-point lead just like that. Steve Artis drives, puts it off the glass, no good. Scott cleans the board. Hampton up 14-6.
This is the kind of game you want to sit back and watch because it's excellent.
Swan gets the rebound, puts it in.
Little old hook shot, Tim. And I know Coach Walters is really upset with the people letting them get the rebounds like that right over the top, because Kevin Swan is not as big as number 54, Lynch, for Ferguson. He just took the ball away from him, Tim. And that's the last 5 points that was scored by
Swan. Yeah, Eric Hunter got him started here in the second quarter in just a minute and 20 seconds, just like that, from a 9-6 score. 7 points straight. You got 5 from Swan on the three-pointer, and then the tip in on the garbage ball underneath, and then Eric Hunter did his job. And just like that, that's the way the Hampton Crabbers have done it a lot this year, is they'll kind of lull you to sleep, and all of a sudden they'll burst out to a 10, 12-point lead.
That's right. Now what Coach Walters is going to do over there, he's going to try to get his team to settle down, do a little bit better job on the defensive boards. Don't let Hampton get that offensive rebound and get that easy basket. And let's go down and run our offense, and let's get a good high percentage shot and score here, and don't let them get those 8 and 10-point runs.
Drive the lane, put it in.
And that was just a clear out. That was a play called at the bench. Everybody cleared out, and he just took his man one-on-one and beat him.
Duffy Hall inside for number 22, Cedric Williams.
And a nice pass, an assist from
Kevin Swan.
Kevin Swan, yes, I had to pick his number up. That was Kevin.
18-8. From 13, it's blocked. Sean Scott has it. Give off to Kevin Swan. Swan and Paul Blackman are the backcourt. John Scott's at center. Eric Hunter. Turn around, put up the one-hander, no good. Baruch Harris is out of the Hampton lineup with 2 personal fouls early here in the first half. Nice drive to the basket by Duffy Hall, as he's got the last 4 points for the Ferguson Mariners. There you see Duffy Hall coming down the court.
He did a good job just taking that ball right in. There was Hampton was trying to draw the charge.
John Scott. John Scott is getting a little warmed up now.
The pressure outside now that Ferguson's put is open up the center, and that's where John is getting easy baskets.
Rodney Shields pitches it out for Duffy Hall. Steve Artis doesn't go. Swan had it momentarily, and he last touched it. Aaron Monday will come in for the Hampton Crabbers, number 54. He'll replace John Scott, and coming in is Marty Chadwick for the Mariners. He'll replace Rodney Shields. And now also coming in is Ronnie Blackman, replacing Cedric Williams for the Crabbers. 20-10, and the inbounds pass just thrown right to Kevin Swan. Good defensive block there, Eric Hunter, and he traveled. So Hunter felt like he might have been fouled, and I don't know that he didn't have a good case.
I think he was had a little nudge that was not intentional, but somebody going for the ball nudged him, and of course when he came down he lost his balance, and that was called traveling. And he felt like he had a little bit of help.
5:02 to go. Shot too strong. Rebound put up, no good. Rebound, yes.
Well, Mariners are setting some awesome picks underneath the basket.
Sean Lynch, who is no little fella, was in there among the tall timber to get that last rebound and put it in. He's a big boy. The days of the tall, lean centers are in the past, I think. Most of these guys go well over 200 pounds. Turn around, put it up, yes. Ronnie Blackman with his second basket of the night. 22-12, Hampton maintains the 10-point lead. Marty Chadwick pulls up. He's got Blackman on his back, no foul, and the ball lost on the baseline. Coming in, Bruce Ballard, one of the starters for the Mariners. He'll come in and replace Sean Lynch.
Sean is one big young man. He really controls the backboards down at the far end.
You got to get permission to be underneath there with him, I tell you. Paul Blackman, bounce pass, a poor pass, but it's retrieved by Ronnie Blackman. Swinging around, Kevin Swan, put it up the left-hander, it doesn't go. Eric Hunter follows.
Oh,
nice
excellent job, an excellent hand. He shot that on the way down, Tim.
He really did. He went up, got the ball in midair, and banked it right off the glass before he came back down. Hunter now with 4 points, and it's a 12-point Hampton lead. We've got a foul. This one's going to be called on Ronnie Blackman, number 32.
And that was a foul. He was using his feet real good. He bumped him, got away with it, and says, I'm going to bump him again. And Pat says, no way, foul. That was a good call.
And a whistle inside. And I believe they're going to charge the foul to Sean Lynch. That's who it is.
Yeah, he pushed so he could get that rebound, Tim. But sometimes you get by with it, and that's not dirty. That's just little tricks you pick up. Everybody does a little jockeying for position, and he just got caught that time.
Both teams now are in the bonus situation for the last 3 minutes and 19 seconds of the first half. Hampton has very quietly jumped out to a 14-point lead.
And it has been quiet, Tim. There hasn't been any spurts where they've been breakaway baskets. They've just played good defense and then come down and got some nice, easy shots.
The only spurt to speak of was that 7-point spurt that the Crabbers put on in the first minute and 20 seconds of this second quarter.
Right.
And it's been pretty even ever since then, but they've just been whittling away at it. And it's a 27-12 score. 3:13 to go here in the first half. Stolen by Ronnie Blackman. He did a good job. Drive the baseline, put it up too strong. Battle it around, and finally the Mariners come up with it and bring it down. And we've got a heavy foul inside, as Aaron Monday said, Mr. Hall, if you're going to make the basket, you're going to have to go through me.
Well, Eric is just a young ball player out there, Tim. He's just a sophomore. Had he put his hand up and not brought it down, he might not have had the foul. When you come down and you're trying to say in your face type of thing, and I'm really going to let you know I blocked it, more than 9 out of 10 times the foul is going to be called on you, as it was that time. We're going to have AG is running around looking for somebody to talk to during halftime. We don't know who it's going to be yet, but he's looking for somebody, so we'll try to keep our eyes peeled and see where he goes.
Duffy Hall gets the bonus on the front end of the 1-and-1. And John Scott will come in now. Aaron Monday will come back out. Hall now with 5 points to lead the Mariners so far. Crabbers are led by John Scott with 6 and Ronnie Blackman, who has gone into the league with 7 points. 27-13. Good form at the free throw line by Hall. Inside of 3 minutes to go in the first half. Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, and A.G. Womble from
Well, now here's a new look. They're going to a man-to-man, and they're doing a little jump switching.
Swan to Ronnie Blackman. The soft shot won't go. And down emphatically is Sean Lynch. From 3-point range, yes.
And that'll bring you back quick.
Marty Chadwick makes it a 10-point lead. So just like that, the Crabbers up by 14. One free throw and a 3-pointer, you're up by 10. Kevin Swan with 5 points. Cedric Williams.
Well, this is something that Coach Brower didn't expect to see, is the Mariners playing a man-to-man, because the only time they beat Ferguson this year is when Ferguson played a man-to-man.
John Scott has 8 points. Again, outside shot for 3, doesn't go. Tipped away, last touched by, who are they going to say? The officials concurring, and they'll say it was last touched by the Mariners.
And that's good, because Pat didn't see who hit it, so he checked with Monday and or Moody or Freeman or what.
Crabbers again by 12. Swan with the blind pass. Blackman, Swan with good quickness. Dishes off. Oh, just a little too strong, but we've got a whistle before John Scott put the rebound in. And a foul is charged to number 24. That would be the third foul
I'll
on
tell you
Marty
the truth,
Chadwick.
Tim, excuse me for talking over top of you, but Kevin Swan does so much more for this team than what it looks like. It looks like he's not hustling sometimes, but he is the first one on the break. He's hustling on defense. He does a good job of passing the ball inside. And I'd like to know his statistics as far as his assists go, because I believe he's probably one of the leaders in assists.
Cedric Williams at the free throw line with 2 shots.
And I don't mean to say that he looks like he's going half motion, because he does it without effort. I mean, it just looks like he's not putting effort in. I know he is, but it looks so easy for him.
So Williams gets both, and with 1 minute and 40 seconds to go, it's back to a 14-point Hampton lead, 31-17. Ball taken away by Ronnie Blackman. Put it off the glass. Aaron Johnson back in the ball game, and it was last touched by a Crabber. So the Crabbers missed a chance to convert on that fast break. Ferguson hanging tough. Steve Artis can't get it to go. Cedric Williams pushes it down the floor, feed it off for Swan, doesn't go. 3 Crabbers there to rebound it. Knocked away and stolen by the Mariners, and a foul on Swan. Again, hustle shows up that time.
Well, Hampton should have had a basket that time, Tim. They had 3 people down there to get that rebound and put it back up. But what happened is all 3 of the Hampton Crabber rebounders were fighting over each other, trying to get that ball.
So Chadwick checked out of the ballgame a minute ago for the Mariners. He is a starter, and he has 3 personal fouls. Sean Lynch, the only other Mariner with any kind of problems, he's got 2 personal fouls. And the Crabbers have 1 player, Baruch Harris, who has 2 fouls as well. Missing the front end of the 1-and-1 is Rodney Shields. Crabbers clear the board with a little more than a minute to go. And we've got a foul. It's going to be a blocking foul. Good try on the part of Rodney Shields, but he just simply didn't get his position in time.
Well, he was trying to get his position, lost his balance, so he just threw himself in front of the dribbler and committed a foul. Now that put Hampton on the line with a 1-and-1. And number 14 for the Crabbers is the one that's shooting. That's Paul Blackman.
Paul Blackman gets the first.
See, now the difference, Tim, is remember that Ferguson was just down the other end shooting a 1-and-1 and missed the front end. So here they come around with nothing, and Hampton has a chance to come away with 2 points, which they do. And that's what, a 16-point lead. That's the biggest lead in the game, I believe, Tim.
1 minute to go in the first half, 33-17. Steve Artis has it blocked, but I guess he got it with the body, because it sure looked like he got nothing but ball.
Sure did, and when you're shooting the ball, that hand is part of the ball. Tricky that first quarter, and I believe what's happened since is both teams have started to figure out some of the defenses.
Hall got the rebound. The Mariners, however, can't get it to go. All alone is John Scott, and he'll bank it in. So John Scott, I'm sure he was tempted to go for the Macho Slam Jam, but wisely took the good percentage bank shot and made it a 35-18 score. And this is Scott with a big rebound. Scott had a good game earlier in the season that we watched him when he scored 26 points.
Well, I don't know what, excuse me, Tim. I don't know what Coach Walters has told his ball players, but I'm sure he doesn't want to see this one-on-one, and that's basically what's happening. Ferguson is not running an offense. They got one man who is playing one-on-one basketball.
Ronnie Blackman is fouled. 13 seconds to go in the first half. Steve Artis charged with his first personal foul. 35-18. The Crabbers up by 17 points.
Well, our camera crew is doing an excellent job, Tim. We got 3 camera placements here tonight, and we're getting some excellent shots of the floor, and it shows you a broad angle shot of the defenses and the way the offenses are setting up against it.
Blackman's shot won't go. 10 seconds to go. Tipped nicely by number 54, that's Sean Lynch. And a bomb thrown the 3/4 length of the court doesn't go. And at halftime, our score, the Hampton Crabbers 35, the Ferguson Mariners 20. And Bob, I have to admit, I'm a little surprised by the fact that there's a 15-point lead for the Crabbers.
Well, when I was talking to Walter Brower, the first game they lost to Ferguson was when they were still playing in the state championship football game, so he didn't have a lot of these players out there playing. The second time they lost was right after they beat, that was Danny Mitchell in the screen there, if everybody wanted to check that young man out there, and this Mr. Musselman, the superintendent of the school. But anyway, let me get back to the point here. They played Ferguson and lost a second time right after they beat Denby by 20 points. And you know and I know that when you're on a high and you have just blown away the #1 team in the district, you have a letdown when you play the next team. And he said, being in Coach Brower said, we did not want that game very much. Ferguson wanted it a lot worse than we did, as consequently they went out and they just played better basketball. It's not that they beat us as bad as the score indicated. They didn't beat them real bad, but Hampton just didn't play good ball. So if they play good ball like they are capable of, and you and I have seen them play good basketball this year, this 15-point lead does not surprise me. What surprises me is that Coach Walters is allowing his team to play like one-on-one against Hampton, and you got to get a team effort. If you don't, you got people standing around doing nothing, Tim.
All right, Bob, thank you for those comments about the first half. The Crabbers leading by 15 at halftime. We'll be back with second half action and the first half statistics. But first, let's take a brief timeout.
Got Horace Underwood, coach of the preschool, and Horace, you were involved in a lot of Hampton Crabber rivalries when you were with the Typhoons back in the early 60s.
Yes, we were. We had some knockdown, drag-out battles every time we faced up, usually 1 or 2 point ball games, and always went down to the final seconds.
I think your high school career, I think at home you guys were undefeated.
I was very fortunate. We never lost at home my entire high school career. We played for Lefty Drizelle for 2 years and then Warren Mitchell for a year, and we were very fortunate to play. And of course, some people say we had an advantage in our gymnasium.
Yeah, that matchbox, I witnessed a couple games over there.
Well, we took advantage of home court. Of course, the fans in the stands didn't hurt us either.
Tell us about playing for Lefty Drizelle. A lot of people don't realize that Lefty actually coached in this area.
Lefty was at Newport News for a number of years and holds several state championships from there. And I was very fortunate to play 2 years for Lefty and learned a great deal about the game of basketball from him. To me, he's one of the greatest that's been around.
Okay. Any prospects here for your Prince School team out here tonight?
Well, we'd like to have several of these young men. We're talking to a number of players off the peninsula. Prince School, of course, we offer a great opportunity for young men. Some good basketball here on the peninsula. We'd like to see them stay at home and play for us.
A lot of people don't realize that I played sandlot ball against you, but I never made it to the Newport News or Hampton Crabber team.
Well, some of the best players are on sandlot, you know, and unfortunately, you run into a numbers game, and I think it happens out here today still.
Well, Horace, great job over there at Prince School. Good luck to you. Maybe you can get a few recruits out of this game tonight.
We sure hope so. Thanks for having me.
Good luck to you. Thanks a lot. Horace Underwood, coach of the Prince School.
All right, thank you, AG. Back here at halftime, we have a 35-20 score. The Hampton Crabbers leading by 15 at halftime. They have been paced by John Scott with 10 points during the half, along with Kevin Swan's 5 points, 7 points for Ronnie Blackman, 4 points for Eric Hunter, 2 points for Paul Blackman, and 3 points for Aaron Johnson. For the Mariners, they were paced with 6 points by Duffy Hall, 5 points for Steve Artis, 4 points for Sean Lynch, 3 points for Marty Chadwick, and 2 points for Bruce Ballard.
Well, we got a good picture, Tim. You look great. I'll tell you what. We got AG over there with the microphone. He's supposed to be picking up the statistics. I don't know if he's coming through or not. I don't have him too well on my headset.
Aaron Johnson.
Well, we got a nice crowd here tonight.
Well, let me ask you, Bob, as a former coach, what would your tactic be here in the second half if you were George Walters?
Well, number one, what you got to do is get back playing your offense. I think defensively, Ferguson plays as well as they're going to play. They've caused Hampton to turn the ball over, but they have not converted on the steals and on the turnovers of Hampton, and that's one statistic that you've got to look at. How many times did Hampton turn over and how many points did Ferguson get out of it? Hampton's ratio is a lot higher than Ferguson's, but what coach is going to have to do is get his whole team in the offense like they were in the first quarter. They were doing some awesome screening and moving and getting some inside shots, but the defense was good and kind of held them back, and so they kind of went away from it. So they're going to have to get back into it. Now, I know Coach Walters is in there telling the guys, listen, 15 points is not going to win this game. 35 points is not going to win this game. We're going to have to get out there and play extra hard, just like we did that second quarter. Because like you said, they only had 9 points into the first quarter and 35 at the end of the first half, so they scored a whole lot more points. They've got a very potent offense because all 5 players on Hampton are scorers, and that's a big difference.
John Scott, as I mentioned earlier, had a big game earlier in the year when we happened to be at the Hampton High School Gymnasium, had 26 points that night. He's got 10 points here, and his play is most instrumental to the Hampton Crabbers. The Crabbers have only one person with any kind of foul problem at all. That's Baruch Harris, who has 2 personal fouls. Several players have 1. For the Ferguson Mariners, they have Marty Chadwick, one of the starters, with 3 personal fouls, and Sean Lynch, their big center, has 2, and then a couple of players have 1 each. So they don't have any great serious problems, but I would think that Marty Chadwick, who is starting the second half, will have to be careful. And that is Marty Chadwick with the ball on the inbounds play. 35-20.
You can see the way that they're setting up. The Hampton is playing a tough man-to-man, and they're going to have to do some screening underneath the basket, and that was a foul right there committed.
Aaron Johnson reached in and fouled Steve Artis. Player control foul.
Well, remember in the first half, Tim, that Mariners didn't get into the bonus situation until the last part of the second quarter. And Hampton was in it, I think, before the end of the first quarter.
Artis, nice move, dishes it off. 1 pass too many, but it's retrieved by the Mariners. Chadwick from 3. Yes. So Chadwick has 2 baskets, and they're both 3-pointers. And just like that, it's a 12-point lead for the Crabbers. Aaron Johnson double-teamed after he gives up the dribble. Now Swan is double-teamed. Baruch Harris playing with 2 personal fouls, way out high. Ronnie Blackman in the corner, out for Baruch Harris. Crabbers moving the ball around, being very patient right now. Ronnie Blackman gets a seam to drive to the baseline, and he is fouled.
Well, I'm real impressed with Hampton because they are being very selective. They're not panicking. They're not trying to run something that's not there. But if you notice down here that Mike Artis passed the ball off, and you said 1 pass too many, Coach Walters talked to him and said, hey, well, you're not out there playing 1-on-1. Pass that ball to your men under the basket. I'm sure that's why he passed it.
Kevin Swan. Kevin Swan with a home run.
Can't leave him open. He's going to shoot that 3-pointer. He's got a green light to shoot it.
Steve Artis. What you're saying, of course, as I understand it, Bob, is what they're trying to do is Walters is trying to get his team to get those extra passes, but you don't want to overpass. That's what happens a lot of times is you over adjust. But they'll work it out, I'm sure.
Right, but I'd rather have a guy overpass than not pass. And I'm sure that's what Coach Walters is talking about.
Harris can't get it to fall. Ferguson. Artis to Chadwick. Chadwick for 3, no. Rebound, yes, by Sean Lynch. Lynch has 6 points, and it's now an 11-point Hampton lead, 38-27. A little less than 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. 4 8-minute quarters. Kevin Swan will pump it up. He gets his own rebound. He throws a blind pass for Baruch Harris. Harris had gone away from the basket and didn't see the pass coming.
He was in the lane, and he didn't want to get a three-second call on him, so he was moving out of there. But that was an excellent pass. Had he had his eyes open and was expecting it, because I know the Mariners were not expecting that pass.
Mariners now with a chance to cut this lead down to less than 10, and Steve Artis does just that. So the Mariners have crawled back into this. A three-point basket by Kevin Swan in the first 2.5 minutes of the third quarter is the entire output for the Crabbers so far, while the Mariners have gotten 9 points. So they've outscored Hampton 9-3 here in the second half so far. Swan gives to John Scott. Scott hands off, oh my goodness, gave it out to Eric Hunter, and Hunter just couldn't get the easy shot to go. So the Crabbers now will set it back up. Paul Blackman in the lineup. Blackman now in jeopardy of being called for, and is going to be called for traveling.
Well, he called traveling, but you got 5 seconds, and you don't stop your dribble out here at half court. But the defense is what's gotten Ferguson back into this ball game, Tim. That plus they're not doing anything but shooting nice, easy shots underneath the basket.
Coach Walter Brower, the head coach for the Hampton Crabbers, got up and angrily signaled for a timeout. He was not happy with what is being done on the court right now by his Hampton Crabbers. Crabbers have just 1 basket. That's Swan's three-pointer, and that's all their efforts have brought for them here in the second half. At halftime it was 35-20. They've been outscored 9-3, and Ferguson has the ball again. So needless to say, this game is one of those situations, as we so many times see in postseason play. You win, you go forward. You lose, you go home, you don't play anymore.
Well, Ferguson has outscored Hampton 9-3, and they've got the ball. And you can't let a team get back in. You need to maintain that cushion if you're going to go into that fourth quarter. You can't let them make a run here and then make another run at the end of the fourth quarter and make it a close game if you're Hampton. You got to get your intensity level back, especially on defense. And quit letting the Ferguson get that ball underneath the basket, and that's what they're doing. They're getting the ball underneath the basket.
Steve Artis guarded by Kevin Swan. Now he'll pull up and shoot from 15, and it won't go for him. A couple of Mariners had the ball, and now the travel call is charged to the Crabbers.
I don't agree with that call. Pat Patrick was not. Didn't see it. The 2 Mariners had the ball and traveled before the Hampton ball player ever got a hold of the ball.
Nonetheless, it belongs to the Mariners. Shot too strong. Sean Lynch goes up, and he's fouled.
Well, he just took that ball right. Sean just took that ball right out of the Hampton Crabbers' hand. He just wanted it back with more intensity.
Blackman with his second personal foul. That's Ronnie Blackman, number 32. Sean Lynch will go to the free throw line with 2 shots. What happened? I've never seen that happen before. What happens in a situation like that? It's just unintentional.
The Hampton ball player should have left the ball alone, because if the Ferguson guy would have gone across and got the ball, been a violation. So Hampton gave him that point.
An 8-point lead for the Crabbers. It's been sliced in half. They were up by 15 at halftime. And now Ronnie Blackman will put it in.
He does a good job of, on his turnaround jump shot, squaring his shoulders up to the basket, Tim.
Ronnie Blackman with 9 points. John Scott leads the Crabbers with 10. And Swan has 8. John Scott, super job to save that ball. He blocked it and then went high in the air to save the ball. Blackman is going to be called for the offensive foul.
That's out of control. He was just out of control that time.
Crabbers got fired up because John Scott did a super job of blocking the ball. Then he did an even better job of saving it. And then, of course, what happens is the adrenaline got going, and Paul Blackman just got out of control, as you said. That's his second personal foul. 10-point Hampton lead, 40-30. Just inside of 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, and we've got a whistle inside.
Well, there's some illegal picks going on underneath the basket, and Pat Patrick picked it up that time. But Ferguson is setting some awesome picks underneath that basket, freeing the ball player, and Pat jumped on it right quick that time.
Sean Lynch called for his third personal foul. That could be big trouble for the Mariners. I'm not sure how deep that Mariner bench is. We haven't seen a lot of them out there. Ronnie Blackman, nice move to get away from Chadwick, put it in. So Ronnie Blackman now with 11 points on a super move. This is Steve Artis driving the baseline in the tall timber. He puts it up, it doesn't go, but he was fouled.
He is got a very quick first step. At the end of this third quarter, AG is going to corral the superintendent of Hampton Schools, Don Musselman, Dr. Don, over at the end of the floor down here to our right, Tim, so let's try to remember that. Now, look at that. Ferguson is already in the bonus situation, Tim. That's much different than it was that first half.
Steve Artis connects on the first. One shot coming, 3:31. And it doesn't go. Baruch Harris clears the board. So it's a Hampton 11-point lead. The Crabbers have precariously hung to this lead. They had led it 15 at half. It was all the way down to 8. And now we should have a traveling call. What's the call?
I think he fouled, Tim.
That is on Sean Lynch. That is big trouble for the Mariners. That is his fourth.
That's 4 on him, I believe, isn't it, Tim? And he's been the stalwart underneath that basket, rebounding for the Ferguson Mariners tonight. So he's going to be here. He's going to have to sit down until probably at least 2 minutes have gone into the fourth quarter before Coach Walters will reinsert him in the lineup.
Mike Whitaker comes in for the Mariners. 2 shots coming for John Scott. Scott has 11 points so far. He's tied with Ronnie Blackman for scoring leadership on the Crabbers team in this game. Kevin Swan with 8 points. And John Scott perfect at the free throw line. The Crabbers have boosted their lead back up to 13. Steve Artis has the shot blocked. Gets his own ball
jump
back.
ball.
I'm surprised myself. I don't know. I guess he released the ball before he came back down.
Must have been. He had to release the ball before his feet hit.
Put it up, no good. Chadwick follows, yes.
Well, I tell you, Ferguson is really scrapping and fighting out there. They're not conceding anything to the Hampton Crabbers.
Marty Chadwick with 8 points. John Scott. 13 points for Scott. And that's the Hampton lead, 13. Marty Chadwick out to Steve Artis. Duffy Hall. Kick it back to Chadwick. Chadwick penetrates. 3-point try for Artis. Off the rim, no good. And it comes out for the Crabbers. Got a 2-on-1. Swan looking for Blackman. He feeds it back to Swan.
Oh,
nice play.
excellent, excellent, Tim. Unselfish. I like to see that unselfishness that the Crabbers displayed on that breakaway.
Kevin Swan gave it to Blackman, back to Swan, back to Blackman, and then Swan finally got it for the easy layup. Hustle by Blackman. The ball goes out of bounds, and it'll belong to the Mariners. Inside of 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, 48-33. The Crabbers trying to get into the Friday night finals against the Warwick Raiders, who upset the Denby Patriots Tuesday night. Only one of those teams, however, will advance to the regionals. Bruce Ballard, who had 2 points in the first half, connects for his second bucket. So the winner of this game plays the Warwick Raiders, and the winner of that game will go along with the Denby Patriots to the regional play.
And they will represent the Peninsula District in the regionals.
48-35, Crabbers by 13. Blackman has it slapped away. His brother Ronnie retrieves. Again, good hands by the Mariners as they are not allowing any easy passes.
I tell you, the aggressiveness of both teams out here and the intensity on the face of these young men is just something to behold, Tim.
Kevin Swan from 13, no. And the rebound comes off for Marty Chadwick of Ferguson. Steve Artis. Back to Chadwick. Three-point try is a little short. John Scott clears the board. 58 seconds to go in the third. 48-35 Hampton. Baruch Harris to Swan. John Scott's pass inside. It's knocked away but retrieved by Kevin Swan. The Crabbers again being most patient now.
They're a very patient team, Tim, because they've got a lot of scores on their team.
John Scott. They took their time and found the open man for the easy layup, and it's back to a 15-point lead just as it was at halftime. Crabbers riding a 6-game win streak coming into this game. Ferguson on a 7-game win streak. Eric Hunter will check in for the Crabbers along with Cedric Williams. John Scott will come out along with Ronnie Blackman.
Well, there's 15 seconds left to go in the game, and Coach Flowers has done a good job of letting his players be aware of the situation and the time on the clock and everything. But remember, at halftime, we're going to swing down here and catch AG with Dr. Don Musselman.
It's 15 seconds to go in the third quarter. And the game, you're trying to hurry things along here.
Okay, let's go.
And it's not halftime. It's going to be the quarter. You're getting excited on this, Bob. 10 seconds. They're trying to break it down the court, and in their efforts to do so, they just threw it away.
That gives Ferguson a chance to get possibly 3 points here, Tim.
5 seconds. Good shot right at the buzzer.
And that is the end of the third quarter, Tim.
So after 3 quarters of play, our score, Hampton 50, Ferguson 37, a 13-point lead. Ferguson outscores them by 2. And now let's see if we can find A.G. Womble along with Dr. Don Musselman.
All right, we got Dr. Musselman here. Don, we are up by 13 here. What are your thoughts on the first 3 quarters?
Well, you know, that second quarter, they really came out smoking and went way ahead. And then starting the second half, they sort of hit a cold spell, a drought. They started...
Got down to about 8, I believe.
Yeah, I started falling behind, and I started getting worried. But then again, they put it all together. Swan and Blackman and...
John Scott's playing a good game.
Right. Scott, they're all playing a good game now. And I tell you, if they keep this up, nobody's going to touch them.
Yeah. Phoebus girls qualified for the regionals tonight.
Well, you know, Phoebus is traditional. They are tradition in the girls.
It goes back to when you were there.
Oh, yeah. Tradition in girls basketball. Had some good coaches, you know, Phil Lay and Mike Talon. Really have done a job, and I'd like to see them go all the way to state again this year.
All right, Superintendent Don Musselman, Tim, Bob.
Thank you, Don, and thank you, A.G. Fourth quarter about set to go. Crabbers will have the ball to start the fourth quarter. Let's see who they've got out on the court right now. They got Kevin Swan. He's the man with the ball. Now Baruch Harris has it, along with 22, Cedric Williams. 12 is Aaron Johnson.
Ferguson has picked up the defensive intensity about 3 notches. They're doubling the ball.
John Scott took a elbow to the ribs after he shot the ball. Then a traveling call is charged against the Crabbers. So the Crabbers turn it over, leading by 13. At the end of the third quarter, Artis was leading the scoring for Ferguson with 10 points, 7 points for Sean Lynch, who is on the bench with 4 personal fouls. Marty Chadwick, who is also in foul trouble, can't get the shot to go.
Well, they're really crashing the boards after the shot is taken, the Mariners, that is.
I'm sure during the quarter break that George Walters told the players, hey, this is it, buddy. This is all the marbles here. We don't win now, we're through. And the shot is going to count. Kevin Swan with an acrobatic shot. He's fouled and will have a chance for a three-point play.
And that's because of their unselfishness, Tim.
Artis called for his second personal foul.
And we got a timeout. George Walters is a little upset with his team. I'm sure he's not upset with them defensively, Tim, because they have jacked up the defensive pressure about one notch. They're doubling the ball. They're making Hampton make some passes and not run the offense that they're used to using. But you can't turn the ball over at your end of the floor. You got to get the points, and that's what happened on that was a breakaway because of a steal. And Kevin Swan, we have seen him tonight time and time again of giving that ball up and getting it back, giving it up, getting it back, and getting the 2 points, and in this case got a chance for a three-point play. The old three-point play.
If anything, Swan has a tendency to be so good with his passes that sometimes his teammates aren't quite ready for them. They really have to be alert with him, because his favorite pass is the pass where he turns his head away from the direction he's throwing the ball. And of course, not only does he occasionally fake out the opponent, but he fakes out his own team players.
But again, he does it so effortlessly. He does not look like he's working hard, but I know he is, but it's fluid.
No question that he is working hard. And he will go to the free throw line. He's got 12 points, 2 3-pointers, and 3 2-pointers, and he will not get the three-point play this time, but he steals the inbounds pass, feed it off to Baruch Harris, it goes.
Now that's the hustle I'm talking about. You can't coach that. That's instinct.
That's one of many steals on the part of Kevin Swan tonight. Steve Artis answers at the other end. He's got 12 points, 54-39. Stolen away by Chadwick. Good play by him. Drive it to the lane, put it up strong, and that's Mike Whitaker with his first basket of the night. Ferguson unquestionably back in this ball game, at least mentally. They are pressuring every chance they get. Easy layup, however, that's what so many times happens. You've got to put that extra pressure on, and if a team is alert, they'll find the open man. Marty Chadwick's pass picked off, but he retrieves it, puts it off the glass, and he's fouled.
Well, that was a good foul. John Scott didn't get him, definitely got him on the arm that time. But boy, the players are diving on the floor, jumping for the ball. Both teams have nothing to be ashamed of. Whoever wins this game, they both have played well. But the only problem is, Tim, you got to win to go on. If you don't win tonight, there's no tomorrow. There's only next year.
Marty Chadwick with 2 3-pointers and a 2-point basket tonight. He's got 8 points. And he'll get a second try as the first one comes off the heel of the rim.
And it looks like that the lineup that Coach Walters has got in here is real small, Tim. But I'll bet you they're fast, and they're going to put a lot of strong defensive pressure on the Hampton Crabbers.
Sean Lynch just checked out of the ball game for the Mariners. 1 out of 2 for Chadwick. He's got 9 points. 14-point lead for the Crabbers. 6:05 remains in the ball game. Ronnie Blackman isolated 1-on-1. This is Aaron Johnson. Spins away. Oh, my goodness. He blocked the ball, but in his efforts to block the ball, he absolutely laid out Aaron Johnson. That was probably, in my not-so-lengthy career, the most complete foul I've ever seen. He laid him out.
There was no doubt about that. And that's why I wish we had instant replay, because I'd like to see that again in slow motion.
Got the ball, but then following through, he simply laid on top of the player. I mean, there was no question. Aaron Johnson at the free throw line cannot connect. He was a little bit shaken up on that play. He wasn't expected to be rolled over.
He shot a good shot for the condition he was in just before that, laying prone on the floor.
One out of 2 at the free throw line for Aaron Johnson. And we've got a whistle underneath the basket. Mike Patrick has detected a foul on Chadwick, and that will be his 4th. Marty Chadwick has 4 personal fouls. 5:36 remains in our ball game, a 15-point lead. Crabbers had that at halftime. Third quarter saw the lead cut to 8, and that's as close as Ferguson has been able to get here in the ball game.
Well, and they get it on defense in the spurt at the beginning of the third quarter, and Hampton was a little cold. Coach Walters is doing a good job of getting his team back into this ball game there third quarter, but it's
John Scott had the rebound, then lost it, and so many times you see it happen. When he lost it, he fouled the man he lost the ball to.
Well, he got the rebound, Tim, and he brought it down where the small players can take it away from you.
Coach Walter Brower is up on the sidelines. One of the few times I've seen him off his chair.
And he is holding his hands over his head, telling John Scott, get the rebound, hold it high.
There you see, momentarily you saw Coach Walter Brower. So both teams cold at the free throw line right now. The Crabbers haven't been able to take advantage, but then again, neither have the Mariners. Aaron Johnson being hounded by Steve Artis, and he's lost his footing. Dish it off for John Scott from 13. It goes halfway down. It comes out. Scott battles for the rebound and finally controlled by Marty Chadwick. Pass it underneath for Mike Whitaker. It's too tough for him to handle.
Well, John Scott deflected the ball too, Tim. That's why that he didn't catch the ball. But Coach Walters needs to get another timeout, and we can see the Hampton bench. And I was talking to Coach Walters earlier this evening, and I told him, I said, boy, you look slim. He has lost 30 pounds. And I said, why? And he says, cholesterol. But it's good to see him looking as good as he is. But right now, I know he would say, give me back 10 pounds and give me 10 more points on the board.
5:08. There you see the Crabber cheerleaders. Let's just sit here quietly for a minute and we'll listen to the cheer. The not necessarily world famous, but certainly peninsula famous, you can't crush a crab cheer. I remember the old days back in the days of the Crabbers and the Typhoon. The Crabber cheerleaders would do the can't crush a crab, and then the Typhoon would respond with their own you can crush a crab. And they'd get that going back and forth. And
that was quite a rivalry, wasn't it?
It certainly was. The decibel level would rise, and the roof down at Julie Kahn Gym would start to come up off the foundation. 5 minutes to go. Tipped away. Hustling after the ball is...
Well, that turnover is because of the defense.
Williams. There you see some of the Hampton cheerleaders almost got to be a part of the ball game there momentarily. From way outside, Artis has it partially blocked. Good hustle underneath. And Chadwick will put it up. It doesn't go, but he is fouled. The Mariners are getting the chances. They're just not putting the ball in. And Walter Brower wants another timeout. He says, look, something isn't right here.
Tim, there's 4:48. There's a lot of time in this ball game. There's a 15-point lead now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that the lead that Hampton had at the end of the first half was 15? So they have played even with them up to this point. He does not want that thing to get down to single digits. He wants to keep the double-figure lead, and he knows if he can get down to 2 in 1 minute, he can salt this game away. But that's a scrappy Ferguson team that he's playing against out there tonight. And Coach Bowers has got his fastest, quickest team in out there. But it's hurting them on the boards because they're not going to get the rebounds either. There's a good shot of our WHCS Channel 29 in Hampton.
It's our pleasure to bring these games to you. If you have any comments or you'd like to express your opinions about our coverage and encourage us or criticize us if you care to, we'd like to hear from you. Just call the school board, 851-8411. Ask for the media department or Dr. Sam Still's office and give us your opinion. We'd love to hear from you. We'd like to know how many of you out there have enjoyed or, as I said, criticize the games. If you have anything to say, please don't hesitate to give us a call. 2 shots at the free throw line. One of them goes in, and the second shot forthcoming from Marty Chadwick, who's playing with 4 personal fouls, and he's got 10 points on the evening. And now we have a lane violation before the shot, and it's going to cost the Mariners a point.
He is very methodical, Chadwick is, in shooting his foul shots, and he caused one of his own players to cause the violation. There's tremendous pressure.
Swan guarded closely by Duffy Hall. This is Aaron Johnson, guarded equally tight by Steve Artis. A lot of pumping and pushing out there right now, but the officials, it hasn't really gotten out of hand, so the officials have called a good game. They've let the teams play. Good block. John Scott off the glass. 17 points for John Scott. And it's back to a 16-point Hampton lead. From 3, count it. Rodney Shields gets his first points of the night in the form of a 3-pointer. And just like that, it's 13 points. And then stolen by Artis. Artis makes a good move. It counts, and he's fouled. My gracious, what a move by Steve Artis.
That was an excellent steal, and then an even better move to the basket to get the point. And they can cut it to 10 right here, Tim, with 3:47 to go.
Steve Artis, among others, has not given this game up for loss. The Crabbers have led by 15 constantly here in the second half. But just like that, it's down to an 11-point lead, a chance to make it 10. As Steve Artis was not to be denied. There you see a good shot of young Steve Artis. And he converts the 3-point play, giving him now 15 points on the night, but more importantly, a 10-point Hampton lead. Ferguson pressuring all over, mishandled momentarily by Blackman. He gets it back. Aaron Johnson breaks the timeline. He'll penetrate and put it in. Aaron Johnson has 6 points on the night, and I don't know of any that could be any bigger than that last one, because a miss by the Crabbers would have been really important for the Mariners.
They're missing the 3-point plays, Tim, out there, but they're getting the rebounds and getting it back in, so now it's back to 10 points again.
3:20 to go in the ballgame. Kevin Swan finds the open player. Blackman puts it in, and a foul is being charged to Duffy Hall. That'll be his second. At the free throw line will go Paul Blackman. He's got 2 points, both of those coming on free throws. 61-51, both teams over the limit. Blackman now with 3 points. Crabbers up by 11. Steve Artis trying to do it all by himself. Artis.
Down to 9 points with 3 minutes to go.
Rodney Shields will be called for his second foul. 9 points, you're right. Now, of course, it becomes very important for the Crabbers to convert on their free throws. Needless to say, whenever possible, the Mariners will be going for the ball and trying to get it firsthand. And secondly, if they can't get it, then of course they want to put the Crabbers on the line. Stop that clock. Kevin Swan, who is as cool as a cucumber up there. No hesitation. No 6 or 7 dribbles. He just gets the ball and shoots. 2 dribbles and fires. Left-hander connects on both. And he's got 14 points. 3-point try, no good. Chased down in the corner by Blackman. Kevin Swan gets around Chadwick. Swan traveled. He lost control of the ball. He was trying to dribble and then pass.
The ball, Tim. He was not going to shoot it. He was going to pass it, just lost it.
Again, Ferguson with a chance to slice that lead inside of 10 points. 2:45 remains in the ball game. And we've got a foul before the shot. This one will be charged to Ronnie Blackman. That's his third. And just what Coach Brower didn't want to see, and that's the clock stopping. And Mike Artis, excuse me, I've called him Mike Artis. You did it earlier. Steve Artis goes to the free throw line.
Tim, it's been a long 3 and 4 minutes there for Coach Walter Brower. It's just he can't get that clock to run fast enough. And Coach Walters is over there saying, slow that clock down.
10-point Hampton lead. One shot coming. Artis now with 19 points, leads all scorers. Mariners, of course, pressuring the ball at every opportunity, double teaming Kevin Swan.
Oh!
So Swan was getting a lot of pressure, and he did move the pivot foot. If you're a Hampton faithful, you have to think he was fouled. If you're a Mariner faithful, you have to think he traveled. Deep in the corner, three-point Chadwick follows his own shot. It's blocked, but a foul is called, and it'll be against the Crabbers. Don't go away, folks. This game is not over with yet. First personal on Eric Hunter.
Well, I have to kind of question Pat Patrick. Now, I have not done that much tonight in this ball game, but that last call when he called traveling on Kevin, possibly somebody had their hand on the ball, but he was being pushed with his body. They were bumping him. And you can't do that. That's gaining an advantage, and that's not allowed. And that's why I don't like that call. But this has been an excellent officiated ball game.
Yeah, you can't like them all, right?
And I didn't like any of them when I was coaching.
Fans have seen a good ball game tonight. We've enjoyed the ball game. We had hoped that we'd have a good one, and it's been just that. The Crabbers have led throughout the game, but I've had the feeling all along that the Mariners are not through yet. I mean, it's never been a case I've ever felt in this game that the Mariners were outside of the possibilities of coming back. Yeah. And they're still in this game. There's 9 points separating the two teams.
And he's on the foul line, Tim, with a 1-and-1, so they can get it to 7 just like that. 3-pointers, get you. I mean, you're right back in. This ball game is not over by a long shot.
2 shots coming actually for Chadwick.
Here's a good shot of Coach Brawler.
Marty Chadwick, who's been playing here in the 4th quarter with 4 personal fouls. He's got 11 points, and he's been instrumental in Ferguson's ability to hang tough. There you see Walter Brower.
And that's a very intent look on that face, too.
The lead is 8. Make it 7 as Chadwick gets the roll. And this game is, as you said, still up for grabs. Crabbers have led by 15, but they have seen it down to 8, and the bumping is getting ferocious out there. But the umpire and the referee choose to let them play. As long as they're consistent, I don't have a problem with it either. Swan out to Blackman. Blackman tries to get the ball inside, and a foul is charged to Chadwick, and if that's his, it'll be all. And that'll be all for Marty Chadwick, who's played a real good ball game for Ferguson.
And he's played a long time with 4 fouls, Tim.
12 points for Marty Chadwick, and he did a good job of keeping the Mariners in this ball game. They've cut the lead to 7. And, of course, going to the free throw line now for those all-important free throws. Bruce Ballard is back in the ballgame. He started the game but has not played a great deal here in the second half. All important free throws coming for Ronnie Blackman. He's going to be shooting the 1-and-1. He's got 11 points.
And he got the roll on that, Tim. And they need him. They need every foul shot they can get down this stretch to keep that lead.
We hope you'll stay tuned at the conclusion of the ball game. We hopefully will have some interviews. A.G. Womble will be around. Oh, big rebound for Scott. He has it knocked away, but more importantly, the Crabbers have the ball. Kevin Swan dish it off for Scott. And a foul. Getting rough out there.
It is getting rough because it's a do or die situation, and Ferguson has got to go for the ball. They're going to make fouls, they know that, but maybe they can come up with some clean steals and get some easy baskets and just shake up the Crabbers enough to get back in within 1 or 2 points of this ball game. Now Hampton's got to make these foul shots. They got to convert. They got 1 or 2 last time. John Scott is one tough foul shooter out there, Tim. We've watched him all season long. He's just been excellent at the foul line.
If you're going to miss a foul shot, miss the second one.
Absolutely.
And in this case, the last time they missed the second foul shot and they got their own rebound, so that was to their advantage. John Scott misses it, and again, history repeats itself. Ronnie Blackman retrieves the rebound in the corner. 66-57, 1:46. Swan is all alone, can't get it to go. He battles for the ball, and it's a jump ball. The arrow of possession belongs to the Mariners.
And I'm sure right there, Coach Brower would have hoped that Kevin did not shoot the ball.
Three-point attempt, it's way off the mark, but inside for the rebound, no good. Battled it around, and we got a foul? We got a foul.
Because Kevin Swan that last time, Tim, instead of shooting the ball, could have taken the ball, bounced out, worked it around a little bit, and run some time off that clock. Right now, what Hampton wants to do is not only make the foul shots when they're at the foul line, which they are right now, but they want the clock to move. They want that to move out of the way so that they can get on with this ball game and get it over with so they can come back here Friday night. And of course, if they are successful, which it looks like they very possibly could be with a 9-point lead, we will be back here Friday night and bring both this game and the Phoebus girls against the Men'sfield girls game. And he is cool, isn't he, Tim?
He's cool. 15 points for Kevin Swan. Make that 16 as he now is within 2 points of John Scott's scoring leadership for the game. Put it up and no good by Steve Artis, but he was fouled.
Well, Artis went up that time more intent in getting the foul first and then trying to convert because he kind of hung in the air and double clutched it enough to get to the foul, and then he shot the ball, was hoping he'd get a three-pointer out of it. But he will be on the line shooting 2 shots.
Aaron Johnson replaces Ronnie Blackman. Now check that, Paul Blackman in the lineup. 2 shots coming for Steve Artis. He's been rolling that ball off the front rim all night long on those free throws.
He does a good job of hitting the front of that rim and making it, and ball still going in.
Is that what they call the shooter's roll?
That's the shooter's roll.
21 points for Steve Artis and a resounding slap in the backcourt as Baruch Harris will walk up to the free throw line.
And that's not a bad foul. Has Baruch been on a foul line tonight?
I don't believe so. At least he hasn't gotten any free throws. He's only got 2 points.
Put him on the line with a 1-and-1. If he misses it, you come back down with a chance to score. You're only down by 9.
Crabbers have a 9-point lead. There you see a good shot of Baruch Harris.
Well, it was a smart foul, but
You play the percentages.
that's right. And I'm sure that's what Coach Walters said. Let's foul the guy that hadn't been on the foul line yet. And here's a new look. Hampton has nobody underneath the basket. They're saying, if he doesn't make it, we're not going to foul you getting the ball.
Harris does convert both free throws, and it's back to an 11-point lead from way outside. The ball doesn't go. It's knocked out of bounds, and I believe last touched by John Scott of Hampton.
That was an NBA three-pointer, Tim.
That really was. He shot that from right around Coach Walters' chair. And who's the foul going to be on? That was one of those mystery fouls. It's a mystery they called a foul.
Called it on number 32 for Hampton, Ronnie Blackman, but Steve Otis just lost the ball. He went up and lost the ball.
4 personals now on Ronnie Blackman. He's still trying to figure out what happened.
AG is over here razzing me a little bit because I'm on the officials. He says since it wasn't Pat, it was a bad call. See, I know who's on my side.
Artis continues to pile up the free throws. He's gotten a total of 9 points at the free throw line tonight. Back in the ball game, Cedric Williams replacing John Scott for the Crabbers. And we've got a holding call on Steve Artis. That'll be his 3rd.
Aaron Johnson was sure happy about that call because he was being held. There's a good shot of the assistant coach, Blizzard, on the Hampton bench, and Art Jones is the gentleman in the red sweater who was an alumni of Hampton High School and then went down to NC State, whose colors were also red and white.
Aaron Johnson at the free throw line. He's got 6 points. It's a 9-point Hampton lead, 1:16 to go. And the Crabbers have been real strong at the free throw line.
And you've got to be, Tim, you've got to have every facet of your ball game down good. You got to be a good defensive team, good offensive team, good block out, good rebound, and a good foul shooting team.
Take it to the hoop. Duffy Hall drives to the lane and puts it in, and a timeout called quickly by the Ferguson Mariners. And can we repeat again the air times for not only this game but the girls game that was played earlier? I think, let's see, we may have given that up.
Somebody walked off with my
well,
seat,
this
you know.
game is airing Friday night at 9 and Tuesday night at 9
p.m.
on Channel 29.
Going to be Friday
at 9 a.m. Won't matter because that game will already be shown.
No, they're Thursday at 9 p.m. and Friday 9 a.m. is the girls' game.
The first time this game airs is Friday night at 9. So
well, they'll miss the girls' game.
You missed a good game, but I hope you don't miss the game at.
That was a good shot of Trish Mitchell, who is the AD at Hampton High School, sitting over there at the scores table, keeping the scores stand. Sitting right next to her is Elton Morgan, who is a good friend of mine, is a coach at Bethel High School.
Is there anyone around here you don't know?
Yeah, there's a couple.
I haven't found them yet. 1:09 remaining. Kevin Swan will inbounds. And immediately Aaron Johnson is fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line with the 1-and-1. Duffy Hall picks up his 4th personal foul. So the Mariners' strategy is quite evident. They will foul immediately when possible. Of course, the Crabbers will try and inbounds to their stronger free throw shooters. There you see Dr. Don, the right end top part of your screen there, observing tonight's game.
And I know he's real happy to have 2 Hampton High School teams in the finals.
Missing the front end of the 1-and-1. Super move by Duffy Hall. 12 points for Hall, and we've got a whistle.
Well, I said 2 Hampton teams in the finals, Tim. I don't want to get ahead of myself because 56 seconds is a long time to go, and Hampton's got to start hitting those foul shots.
Ballard called for his second personal foul. 72-65. It's a 7-point Hampton lead. And at the free throw line will be Aaron Johnson with the 1-and-1. Ferguson has been careful not to intentionally foul the Hampton players. And again, Johnson misses. Second time in a row, a Crabber has missed the crucial front end of the 1-and-1. Steve Artis drive the lane. It's knocked out of bounds, last touched by one of the Crabbers. So Steve Artis has certainly contributed everything he can to this game. He's got 23 points. He is fouled again. And he'll go to the free throw line for...
Now, here was a pass, and Pat is giving him 2 shots, but he definitely wasn't shooting that ball. He was passing the ball. Pat, you missed that one.
Steve Artis will go to the line once again for the Mariners.
And he has been hitting well from the foul line, hasn't he, Tim?
Yes, he has. He has 9 free throws on the evening. And just as sure as he can be jinxed, we did it to him.
That happens. That's known as the jinx of the announcers. Every time you talk of something good about a ball player, he proves you wrong.
Well, Artis is not infallible, but he certainly has played a super game tonight. He misses both of these, but gets his own rebound. And he's got to put it up as quickly as he can. Finds a man open, and he does put it in. That is Whitaker. And we're down to a 5-point lead and a foul. Don't go away, folks.
No,
this game is not over. 35 seconds to go. A 5-point Hampton lead, and they'll go to the free throw line. That's Artis's 4th personal foul. So Chadwick has already fouled out, and now the Mariners have Lynch, who's on the bench, with 4. Artis and Hall playing with 4. Crabbers have only 1 player. That's Ronnie Blackman, who has 4 fouls. Cedric Williams, who has 2 free throws tonight at the free throw line. And these are big free throws.
And that first one, Tim, just like you said, you got to get that first one. Well, that's a 6-point lead, so that means they have to have a minimum of 2 possessions. If he hits this one, then that means they have to have 3 possessions.
Williams coolly puts in both free throws. He's got 8 points, and it's a 7-point Hampton lead. Hall's shot off, no good. Battle for the rebound. Hall gets his own, puts it off the glass, still no good. And finally brought down by Ronnie Blackman. Blackman is hammered as he crosses the timeline, and he'll get at least 1-and-1, perhaps 2. A couple of Mariners went down heavily. And Mike Patrick says it's going to be a 1-and-1. No intentional foul or no flagrant foul in this case. And I don't think it was.
That was a nice block.
So Rodney Shields comes out of the ball game having fouled out. Coming in now will be Dwan Harrell, a player who has at this time not played tonight for the Mariners. So the Mariners now having lost 2 players via the foul out route. 20 seconds to go. 74-67, a 7-point Hampton lead. And Ronnie Blackman at the free throw line. Good form, perfect release. The ball goes swishing through the net.
And that's what you got to do. You got to go up there and concentrate, because this is where the game is going to be won tonight, is on the foul line.
No good on the second. It's an 8-point Hampton lead. Artis can't get it to go. He forced that shot up, and Kevin Swan is fouled by Duffy Hall, and that'll be all for Duffy Hall.
It's academic now with 11 seconds to go, Tim. I think I can say that Hampton has reached the finals, which they'll be playing Friday night around 8 o'clock against the Raiders from Warwick, who used to be called the Farmers when you were in school, I believe.
Way back when. That was when Warwick was a farm. Anything above Main Street was country. Kevin Swan will step up to the free throw line. He's got 16 points. He'll be shooting 1 and 1. The Iceman. He even looks like George Gervin in his stature.
He really does, Tim.
Very thin individual, like Gervin was. And it looks like George Walters has conceded this ball game. He's throwing in the reserves now, getting some of the guys a chance to play a little bit in the competition. 77-67. In the ball game, let's give a call to some of the faces we're looking at now. 32 is Marquise Hicks. 20 is Dwan Harrell. Number 50 for Ferguson, Billy Bott. Number 53 is Louis Bott. I would have a strong guess to say they might be brothers.
I think that'd be a good point.
And that is your final score. Well, it wasn't easy. The Crabbers had to keep struggling all the way because the Ferguson Mariners, needless to say, never gave it up.
Well, I tell you, Coach Walters did an excellent job with his Mariner team. They were well prepared. They came in and they played good defense, but Hampton was just a superior team. And if Hampton plays the way they're playing right now, they'll go all the way into the into the regionals and do a good job. But first of all, they got to get by Warwick Friday night right here at Hampton University. I think we're going to try to get Coach Walter Brower with AG sometime during this. And it looks like he's got Scott over there with him, John Scott, and we'll get over there as soon as we get a chance to, Tim. This is an excellent ball game.
If memory serves me correctly, Warwick split the regular season with Hampton. Each won a game. So Hampton had 3 losses, 2 of them to Ferguson and 1 to Warwick.
All right, so they avenged the 2 losses to Ferguson. Now they want to avenge that 1 loss to Warwick, I'm sure.
All right, let's go out to the center court and A.G. Womble.
All right, Coach Walter Brown, great game, a little physical out there tonight.
Yeah, well, we expected a physical game because Ferguson plays that way, and we just wanted to play a good, tough defensive game with them. Same way that we played Denby.
All right, John, y'all were ahead by about 15, but then I think they got down to about 6 there. Would you get a little worried there in the last quarter?
Yeah, I got worried because I felt, we weren't doing a good job on the boards after we came out. But then, after we settled down, everything was all right. We handled the boards very well.
All right, Kevin Swan, first of all, congratulations on that first team district membership. And also, John Scott, your thoughts on the big win tonight?
Thank you. Well, in practice, all through the week, we stressed defense. And we felt that the defensive play was going to win the game for us. And tonight, they proved it.
Okay, Warwick tomorrow night. John, what are your thoughts?
Excuse me?
Raiders tomorrow Friday night.
Oh, well, I'm ready for them. Definitely, yeah.
Okay, Coach, one more win now. You're in the regionals.
Yeah, well, like we said all along, we want to win the tournament and get into the regionals. And, we just got to keep playing tough like we're playing. I think we'll be okay.
These 2 guys showed that first team all-district play tonight.
Well, Kevin was unanimous, and John made it too. So, hey, we're very happy. These are 2 tremendous ball players, good young men.
All right, congratulations to you guys, and good luck Friday night.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, John.
All right, A.G., thank you very much for those interviews with those players tonight. John Scott
I better set up.
John Scott and Kevin Swan tied for their team scoring leadership with 18 points. To go down the scoring with the rest of the players, Aaron Johnson had 8 points, as did Cedric Williams. 13 points for Ronnie Blackman. 18, as I mentioned, for John Scott. Eric Hunter had 4, and Baruch Harris had 5 points. Ferguson was led by Steve Artis with 23 points. Stuffy Hall had 12, as did Marty Chadwick, who fouled out of the ballgame. 3 points for Rodney Shields, 4 points for Bruce Ballard, 6 points for Mike Whitaker, and 7 points for Sean Lynch. The Crabbers led 9-6.